Welcome back to Maputing Cooking. Ako po si Chris Urbano, bringing you food and fun from here in the Philippines. Today I'm going to show you how to cook calamares, which was one of my all-time favorite street foods when I was a college student dito sa Metro Manila. I used to study around Ortigas, Mandaluyong City area, and in the afternoon I would go down and find the street food cart, around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, and they would be selling this absolutely delicious, freshly cooked calamares, right? So I'm going to show you exactly how this recipe is done by Filipinos on the streets of Manila, but you can cook this anywhere in the world with my recipe. So enjoy. So calamares, right? It's obviously mostly a squid dish, so you need to start with preparing your squid. Now, if you're overseas, you might find a squid that looks something like this. It's been pre-chopped into calamari rings. This comes from some pretty big squid. In the Philippines, our squid normally is a lot smaller than that though, and the calamares that they'll serve on the street is often the smaller, thinner type, and often not cut into rings at all, cut into squares, because it's easier to pick up with a stick, right? Which is of course everything on the street you eat with a stick. So I'll show you how to actually prepare it the Filipino way, but everything I'm doing here, if you want to do it with the other type of calamari, this big thick one, if that's what you've got, you can do it with this as well. So I've got here a squid. It hasn't been cleaned yet, so the first thing I've got to do is find the bone, which is sort of a plasticky thing in the squid head. And there it is. So it just looks like a long shard of plastic, so we want to remove that. You wouldn't want to bite into that with your calamares. And next I'm going to pull the rest of the head out from under the squid cap, and we get some ink coming out at the moment. And I'm going to remove the ink sac. And now I've got 2 pieces of calamari that can be used. Now, typically in Manila in the street, you would peel the head of the calamari. It's a little bit fiddly, but once you get it started, it comes off quite easily. All right, so that's what it'll look like there. And then you just want to wash these pieces to get that squid ink off. So you're just left with nice, clean squid that's ready for marinating. So this next part is very important. You have to have the tentacle part. I don't know if you like the tentacles, if you're overseas, you're used to eating it, but it's like when you fry it up, you want to have a few of those in there for the visual look and the texture, right? I'm going to take that big piece of squid there and I'm going to cut it just below the eyes. And that's like one of the favorite pieces, right? This was always the one I would try and get on the street because it's just like, I guess, weird in your mouth. And then often with, typical Western calamares, you would just slice it into rings at this point. But on the street, they normally serve it in a square cut. So I'm going to try and replicate that. I'll cut off these flaps first. Now, if anybody knows why it's easier to serve it like this at a fishbowl stand, if you're a fishbowl or a squid vendor, calamares vendor, a quick vendor, let me know, leave a comment below. My assumption as a consumer is that it's easier to pick up with a stick. So I would normally take my own tusuk. I would come prepared. I'd bring a tusuk from home, a bamboo skewer, and then I could just spear what I want. And the price at that time, this was about 2007 yata, you could get a calamares for 3 pesos per piece. Sometimes you could make tawad and get 5 for 12. So now this is what my squid looks like. I'm going to next add the calamansi juice to this. So we're just going to marinate it in calamansi juice. And then salt and pepper. And the calamansi not only will flavor the calamares, but will also, wash away if it's, say, old or something and there's a bit of a fishy smell to it. And next comes the fun part. So we're just going to put this straight into flour. Now, again, a lot of Western calamares would involve a dredging process where you go flour, egg wash, and then breadcrumbing. And, you can always do that with a Filipino-inspired calamari, but I really want to cook this the way it was done on the streets in Manila. So just going to let my pan get nice and hot again. And this is just a very thin dusting of either cornstarch or even regular flour will do the job. Now I'm gonna do a shallow fry here. So I like to show you guys how to cook these things at home na hindi sobrang mahirap, hindi sobrang magastos sa mga mantika. So if you're on the street, of course, they'll have the big deep fryer, then you've got everything there. They're doing their kwek in there, they're doing their calamares there. The oil's not really that clean, but it's part of the flavor, I guess. But when I'm cooking calamares at home, I always just do a shallow fry so I don't use up too much oil, especially if I'm only doing like one batch. And we're gonna go in quite quickly with this. Okay, so my calamares is starting to go a nice golden brown color, and you want to just keep it in there until it hits that point. Don't overcook it, but you want the flour just to have crisped up and started to turn color when you pull it out. Now on the street, of course, if you're starting to pull this out, you would probably put it on like a wire rack. They often will use like an improvised wire rack, like a fan or something, you know, the like fan guard. They will take that out and they can just put the fried foods there so that the oil drains off. I'm not going to take apart a fan to do that, so I'm just going to put it in a bowl with paper towel. I'm going to cook a second batch of this delicious calamares up. If you haven't already subscribed to the show, just follow my flour-coated finger here and ipush mo yan. Never miss another episode of Food and Fun from the Philippines and learning how to cook delicious Filipino food with me, Chris Urbano. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so this looks amazing. It's going to be crispy, it's going to be crunchy. I'm super excited to taste it. This is going to bring back, 10 years ago, being a student, streets of Manila. Normally I have it with a spiced vinegar. Now, of course, if you're going to take pictures of this for a magazine or like put it on, the Pinoy Cooking blog, I'm going to put a bit of garnish on the calamares as well. Yung pampaganda lang. So, really if you want to serve this, in the Philippines with just a bit of red onions and green chilies. And that just breaks up the fried, brown colors a little bit. But yung flavor talaga will come from when I dip this into the spiced vinegar that's had a chance to infuse with the onion and chili there. Of course, I'm going to be eating this with a tusuk today. I recommend, never leave home without one of these in Metro Manila. Your passport to street foods. All right, so here we go. You can probably hear the crunch. Oh, it's super good. That's the best. I need to get a photo of this later, but I'm gonna eat one more piece. It's so good. And this is my favorite part. I don't know if Filipinos agree with that, but this is the best part when you get calamares on the street. I think it's like extra crunchy because the tentacles are a bit thinner. That brings back a lot of happy memories, and if it brings back happy memories for you, don't forget to leave a comment and share the video with your friends. I'd be interested to know, for anybody currently living in Manila, where is your go-to place for calamares? Because I'm wondering, right? It used to be you could get it for 3 pesos in Mandaluyong. The prices are going up. Makati City, you can barely find calamares anymore. Like if I go now, I'm usually going out to QC, like Maginawa Street. I think there's still some around UP Diliman, you can find it. But I really want to know, leave a comment below, where's your go-to place, where's the best street calamares in Metro Manila right now, and I will seriously go to some of these recommendations you guys send me, all right? So I'd love to hear from you if you know where the best calamares is, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, of course, follow us at Facebook, and check out maputingcooking.com for the complete recipe. You can sign up to the newsletter and you'll never miss another episode. We're teaching you how to make Filipino food for Filipinos abroad and everyone else in the world who wants to learn too. I'm Chris Urbano. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.